It took a long time.
Just like this, it took a long time, yeah. I'm so excited.
Dude, I can't wait. Let's freaking go.
Very excited.
Just to look
Very
like this, it took a
excited.
long
Very
time.
excited.
We haven't got
Very
a
excited.
reach out from the OKC Bears yet.
I know.
I'm a little disappointed by that, quite
too.
honestly.
Happens.
It's not acceptable at all.
Alright. What up, y'all? We're back. Boomer Backfield here. It's Friday, January 24th. And, not much going on in the OU football world, but we got a little something different for you guys today. We're going to do some, obviously, talk about Jim Knowles. That's the word on the street right now. And then we got some awards that we're going to hand out to you guys, or not to you guys, but for OU players this season, best offense player, best defense player, stuff like that. And then, of course, at the end, like usual, we got comments on comments. Make sure to check in or tune in anywhere. We're literally everywhere, iHeartRadio included.
Yep.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And like you said, every week we're going live at 1. So make sure you're here for that. My name is Kylan.
I'm Colby.
I'm Spencer.
And, hey, let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's
Come
get
on,
into it.
guys. Let's dive right in.
So first thing we got is Jim Knowles headed to Norman?
Yeah. It's been 4 days since the national championship, and all of these guys talking OU sports are saying we're gonna know within 2 or 3 days, and then 2 days passed, and it was like we're gonna know by the weekend.
Yep.
And then it was like if we don't know by the weekend,
he ain't coming.
And it's it's 1 o'clock on a Friday, right? So
yeah,
it's starting to get concerning, because it's like, what are the other options now that we've waited for Jim Knowles?
Yeah, literally.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, this is all kind of made up by fans, but I mean, the idea is we're waiting for Jim Knowles.
Yep.
And we don't have him. So if we don't get him, I don't know who's out there, really, to be honest, out in the coaching carousel. So, man.
Well, that's what's interesting is you're seeing all these people post on Twitter saying, oh, I've got insider info. I know who's getting hired in the next 2 days, and it's going to shock you. Well, it's Friday, and we still don't know. So that's the thing is, like, before it's like there's not really much of a concern if BB hasn't hired a DC yet, because we all think it's Jim Knowles and he's playing in the Natty. But now the fact that Jim Knowles has not been announced yet, and it's Friday, now the concern is skyrocketing. Because then it's like, how have we waited? I mean, I'm coming up on a month now of not having a DC. It's just insane. I don't know what's going to happen. But the thing is, too, is we posted a graphic earlier this week. Jim Knowles' salary at Ohio State was, I believe, $2.97 million.
Yeah, so it was like 2.2, and then he got like $700K for incentives, like winning the national championship, all that. So he ended up getting about $3 million this year, which
our highest paid assistant coach gets paid $1.1 million.
And he's no longer a part of our
fired.
And he's fired.
That's
so it's a little bit concerning because OU always seems to have an issue with money. And I'm just gonna be honest, there's no way we match $3 million that Ohio State just paid him. There's no shot. So
yeah, I saw a tweet and it said everyone thinks that OU has a problem with money, but they're just selective. And I was like, I really hope that's true, because I mean,
I hope so.
With the John Mateer news, that kind of honestly like threw everything off track, because it was like, oh, we don't have money, and then we go and pay
them.
Boom,
at ranch,
and we get them. So it's like, do we have money, and are we just waiting for the right? But it's just like, if you're gonna make that guy the highest paid assistant coach in college football, I feel like, I mean, he's the guy to do it, dude. Because I mean, why not go get the guy who just won the national championship? If we can, if he is up for grabs, if he's saying, hey, I already did this, I want to settle, or create a new venture, go on a new adventure, whatever, why not go get him? In my opinion. So we'll see.
And building on that argument, it's like, if we're selective, maybe Jim Knowles is the best in the business.
Yeah.
But Brandon Venables is kind of the best in the business. Why go spend $3 million on a DC if you can have your head coach be the DC, and you can spend that money elsewhere, especially now where the university can directly pay athletes. So it's like, and another thing Ohio State did to win a national championship is, and everyone's talking about it right now, the $20 million roster. They shelled out $20 million to their athletes. And so, is spending $3 million on a DC when you have a defensive minded coach that, has been succeeding.
Yeah.
Is that worth the $3 million right then and right there? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it makes you wonder, do we need it? Lincoln was calling the offensive plays.
Yeah.
And we were doing just fine. The only issue though, is that with that, our first year when BV was here, granted it was his first year, so you can give him slack there. The defense was, they were okay. And BV was kind of like heading the defense that time. I think it'll be different this time around now that he's got his guys. But I mean, it makes sense. Why? The real question is, do we have money or are we selective? Because the money that we did have, we gave to John Mateer, but it was $3 million. And reports are saying that was the lowest amount of money offered by other schools. So I think we're down bad on NIL, and we're also selective, which I think if you are low on money, you need to be selective. But I don't know. I think we really need to find out soon. Yeah. Really, we need to find out just in general what's happening. Is BV taking over? Are we getting Jim Knowles? Are we not? Are we looking for anybody else? And if we are, we should already have ideas of who that is. Yeah. Why do we not know anything? That's really strange to me. Yeah. And it's really concerning because the portal opens up, I think, in February.
We'll definitely have somebody by then for sure.
Or it's like during spring ball or like into spring ball or something.
Yeah, it's something like early on later, but
maybe like March.
I don't think there's any panic inside the program at all.
Yeah.
I don't think they're concerned.
Clearly not.
Yeah. I don't think there's any panic at all.
Not,
Well, but another thing is like with the Brent Venables thing, like, is him running the defense good enough?
Yeah.
It's like year 1, bad defense. Year 2, decent defense all by himself. And then year 3, good defense, but he had Zach Alley. Do you credit Zach Alley for that medium to good jump, or do you recognize the trend of BV getting better each year?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the question is BV fine on his own? We don't know. Like, we just don't know. But inside the program, I would say they probably do know the answer to that question. And if the answer is yes, he's fine on his own, they have no panic at all. And that's what they're pitching to recruits is, hey, we're not in any panic mode. BV's our guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see. Time will tell.
My whole thing is just like BV, if he had proven, and I get it was his first year, but if he had proven, hey, I can coach well, manage the game, do all this stuff, and call plays on defense, cool. Because I mean, like with Lincoln, like you mentioned, Lincoln was calling offensive players. We also didn't have problems with, calling like stupid timeouts, doing just dumb stuff during the game. But BV, he does that whether or not he has a DC or whether or not
that's the problem.
He is the DC. So it's like, I would feel better about having someone else that he could be like, here, do this. I need to focus on this rather than him having to wear 7 different hats and try and manage all this other stuff when he hasn't perfected being a head coach yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would like to see if we don't get Jim Knowles, maybe, I mean, it's a long, but like maybe go like Skowski or something just to have another guy that's like, obviously not Skowski. I don't even know if he's
26 years old.
But like just that young guy that you kind of are like, hey, I can see him. Like, I have implemented like so much of my like teachings for him, I think, or into that person. I'd be down with that, honestly.
I can agree with that. It's just, I can agree with that. It's just tough because
inside hires are tough.
Honestly, the problem is Brent Venables, whether he has a defensive coordinator or not, does not seem like he can be a CEO.
Yeah.
That's kind of the big issue here is like whether he has never proved once with a great defensive coordinator and with him being the great defensive coordinator, he's never proved that he can make good game time decisions, call timeouts at the right time, and he's never proved that he can get the offense right. Never proved that. Except the only time that happened was under Jeff Lebby. And we still weren't ecstatic with that offense, you know what I mean? Or ecstatic with that defense at the same time. But
well, it's strange because statistically that year we were top 10
Mhm.
But if you ask
Didn't
anybody
feel
who's an
healthy,
OU
yeah.
fan, it did not feel like a top 10
Nope.
offense.
And look at
So-
the schedule we were playing. I mean, it's
Well, that's the thing.
that's
You're-
another thing.
I mean,
That-
playing.
Put
Man,
that team
bodies.
up against Tennessee on the road, Alabama on the road. No,
Yeah,
it's
they're
not
not a top
doing-
10 offense.
yeah, it's
there.
not. And
No.
the stats were, 8 touchdowns in a game versus West Virginia. It was kind of
I mean, that helps.
Yeah.
it helps,
That helps a
quite a
little
bit.
bit, you know.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of what's going on with Jim Knowles. I
Yeah.
suppose. I mean,
I mean,
we
if
don't
you
know.
we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
If
We're
we
not an
find out-
insider. We have no idea.
Yeah.
I know you guys are open for that, but
And the thing
we
is,
don't know.
too, is anybody who claims they do, they don't either.
They don't.
They don't either. So that's something that
yeah, you see a lot.
you see a lot. Oh,
Yeah.
I've insider. No, you don't.
If
You
I-
absolutely do not.
If I learned anything working with OU football for 3 seasons, it is that nobody outside of 15, 20 people know what's going on.
Yep.
There's like literally a group of 15 to 20 people that know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they control everything, but
Yeah.
they don't, they're very, Brent Venables is very secretive. He's very like, and to a fault at sometimes. I don't know if y'all remember the 2023 OU Texas game where it's like, are we going to play Dylan Gabriel or
Yeah.
not? And it's like, you don't even need to play that game. He got
Yeah.
lit up
Yeah.
last week. You
Yeah.
don't even need to play that game.
Yeah,
So,
that's
but
true.
anyways, that's Brent
Yeah.
Venables. So nobody knows.
So
Nobody
anyway,
knows. Yeah.
moving on to our new segment. I guess it's
Mm.
not even a segment, but hey, just a new type of idea that we got coming
Yeah,
for you
yeah.
guys.
It's a
Um,
series.
it's a series.
We're
It's
gonna
a
keep it
series.
going.
We're gonna keep it going.
Yeah, this is the beginning of something.
We
the
got
offseason,
the
yeah.
2024 OU Player Awards.
Mhm.
And we're gonna go down the list and just kind of name off some guys that we thought deserved,
Mhm.
Yeah.
some recognition after
Yeah.
the season. So first up, we got the Offensive Player of the Year.
This one's so funny, huh?
Offensive player of the year. Wow. You guys go ahead.
Okay, I'll take it because I thought about this one.
Take it.
This one's tough, right? Because you can't go wide receiver because the best receiver on the team was Bauer Sharp.
Yep.
And he was a tight end, and an awful tight end at that. So you can't go receiver. You can't go tight end, obviously. You can't go O-line because even if there was one saving grace of the O-line, which there wasn't, the O-line as a whole played awful. You can't go quarterback in my opinion here, because every quarterback that played lost us a game, like literally lost us
Yeah.
a game, at least one
Or several.
several.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, you can only go running back here. So I'm going to take Javonte Barnes as best offensive player of the year. Didn't do anything flashy or crazy, but totaled up to about 500 yards, 4-ish yards a carry. So 4.5 something yards a carry. So pretty solid. Definitely the best running back in the squad, at least statistically. My honorable mention here would probably be X, just because of that Alabama game. And man, if we had played X all year, I think he would have won this award for me, but he didn't play all year. So that's my pick.
You going or you want me?
I'll go.
All right, go ahead.
I think a lot of these we're gonna have the same players
Yeah, for
because there's just such a small pool of players who played good this year. Honestly, for my best offensive player, I was also going to pick Javonte Barnes. It was also between X and Javonte Barnes, but ultimately I gave it to Javonte Barnes because I'm giving X another award later on. But yeah, I think Javonte just really had to step up from last year. The spotlight seemed to be on Gavin Sawchuk. Why? I have no idea. But I think really Javonte was the one who stepped up and kind of set the tone. And then you had X come in. You had Taylor Tatum for a little bit popping off. So I think Javonte stayed consistent mostly the entire season. So I give my best offensive player to Javonte Barnes.
I know what he's going to say.
Come on, guys. You know who I'm picking.
Mm.
Michael Hawkins Jr.
Gosh,
Wow.
you're such a goober.
You know,
Terrible.
let me give you some preface right here. This is why I made this selection. I, in good faith, cannot say that anyone besides him got me more excited to watch OU play offense than Michael Hawkins Jr. When he was out there,
Fair.
I had the most
Fair.
excited I ever got was this whole season was honestly Auburn. That like 60-yard run he had just took off. That's the most I screamed, I jumped. It was that.
That's
And then
fair.
the second most excited I got was when he flipped into the end zone for a 2-point conversion, and I went crazy again.
That's fair.
So,
Yep.
did he look at his stats? He threw for 700 something yards, almost 800. He threw 3 touchdowns or had 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. On paper, no.
And
But basing it
2 fumbles.
and 2 fumbles. Okay, 2 fumbles.
2 fumbles.
But I also can't say that anyone else on this whole entire team was very good. So it's hard. So I'm going to go with the guy that had me excited to
That's
watch
fair. That's a fair.
OU football.
Yeah.
I know you
Nothing
guys
wrong
are
with
like,
that.
oh, he's Michael Hawkins.
hey.
But I
It's
do.
slim pickings
But
out
at
here.
least
It's slim pickings.
I had a decent reason for it.
That's fair. That is a fair reason.
I can't even be mad.
I just think, that 21-0 at like 8 minutes left in the first got me.
That was crazy. Okay, that was kind of crazy.
But I
was
can
crazy.
understand that because honestly, it's true. That Auburn game was the best time it felt to be an OU fan the entire year. And it was because of him. It truly was because of him. So I can agree with that.
Yeah. So moving on, obviously we just did offense. So we got a defensive player of the year. I think I'll start this one off. We'll go
Okay.
back down the line.
Yeah.
This one's pretty.
You guys thought I was going to say Danny Stutzman,
What?
but I'm saying Robert Spears Jennings.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I just think
Yeah.
Danny,
Make good
what
stuff.
did you get from Danny this year? Exactly what we expected Danny Stutzman to do.
Ball out.
Pull out 100 tackles, be Danny Stutzman.
Yep.
RSJ was kind of the wild card. Not a lot. I mean, obviously, if you're a Sooner fan, like getting into player stats and all that stuff, you know who he is. But I really think he actually made a name for himself. Anytime you get an edit where it says, I'm coming back, and OU football tags you in the post, that's how you know you made it. He had an edit made for him to let him know that he was coming
With
back.
the Corvette
With the Corvette. Like, come on.
and a fur jacket.
Come on. That's like,
That's hard.
that's great.
Mr.
But
Boz
like,
with him.
that's awesome. But I think Robert Spears Jennings, he, really took a leap this year and honestly was quietly one of probably the top 2 best players on that entire defense.
I can agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my guy.
Yeah. For me, best defensive player, I'm rocking with R. Mason Thomas. I think obviously we can, just like Colin said, Danny Stutzman probably is the best defensive player, but I don't want to have the same answer. The reason why I pick R. Mason is just because that guy showed up when the moments were the biggest.
Yep.
He was always consistently hammering the quarterback at all times, applying pressure. We're lucky to get him back.
Yeah.
So I love watching him play defense. He's just a baller. So R.
Mhm.
Mason Thomas is my pick for defensive player.
Fair
of the
enough.
year.
I'm gonna go Danny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the guy to say it.
Boring.
The
Sorry.
run defense,
Yeah.
the best part of our defense,
Oh yeah.
would not have been, in my opinion, like nearly what it was because of Danny Stutzman. Danny Stutzman is the reason we won a couple of games. And going back into last year, which I know we're talking about this season, but the OSU and Kansas losses, the Kansas loss specifically, I don't think would have happened if Danny Stutzman did not get hurt. He is just that guy, that linebacker that the running back finds a hole and Danny's just there. Like Danny just appears.
Yep.
Like, you see some green grass and then all of a sudden it's Danny Stutzman.
Yeah.
His IQ to just be in that spot at the right time is just second to none.
Yeah.
There's just nobody like him, and it's gonna suck to not have him next year, honestly. But
It's gonna be really sad.
I'll give my honorable mention to RSJ because RSJ was just an absolute model of consistency.
Yeah.
Is what Brent Venables would say.
That's
Model
true.
of consistency.
That's good. That's good.
Just
Good terminology.
didn't have a time where he got necessarily just absolutely cooked, but just really the same player every game. That's
Yeah.
the thing. A lot of guys, even on defense,
Yeah.
were not the same player every game.
Yep.
So
Well, to your
That's
point
the
with
props.
Danny, run defense, I just do want to say this about Danny. The Alabama game,
Yep.
everybody was talking about
yeah,
Jalen Milroe and the run game.
Comes
Watch
out.
out. That's what we're going to have.
First play. of the
First play of the game.
lights him up.
Jalen Milroe tries to bounce out right. Pow. Danny
Mhm.
Stutzman meets him right at the line. You can
Mhm.
always count on him
Mhm.
to stop the run game.
Danny's a film watcher.
Yeah.
Like that is the thing about him. Is
Oh,
he's
yeah.
such a film watcher.
Yeah.
He knows his IQ. It's just the IQ. The
Yeah.
IQ. He knows where to be at the right time, and that is. There's nothing better with a linebacker. So
He's going to be really good in the league.
God,
Excited to
he's
watch
so
him
good.
play.
Where's he gonna go, man? I'm so.
Dude,
you know,
I don't
I
want to
think
get into it, but I'm
you
so
know-
excited about
dude,
that.
I know where I want him to go. Detroit.
He'd be crazy at Detroit.
Yeah. Him and Malcolm
I mean, I
Rodriguez.
want
yeah.
every OU player to go to the Broncos because that's me. But
Sure.
Or the Bucks, man. That defense needs
Oh,
help.
bro. Baker and Danny on the
Dude.
Bucks OU fans would go
We would
wild.
That's true.
rejoice.
I would go wild. I
Oh,
would
yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And he needs
Anyway.
it too because the defense is terrible.
Terrible.
at the Bucks.
But-
So
but-
yeah, Danny, could you? Oh my gosh, could you imagine
Gosh, dude.
Danny and
He
Bates
got me. My juices flowing.
Dude.
Gosh, dude.
and Sterling Shepard.
Sterling
Uh-huh.
Shepard's washed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is washed.
He is,
washed.
dude.
He's washed.
That's-
Hey,
he's
his
been playing
intro is really cute though, with his two little daughters. It's
He's an
really
old
cute.
man now.
He's been
so
playing for a while.
There's nothing
though.
wrong with that.
Yeah,
There's
No,
nothing
that's
wrong
fair.
with
I
being
mean, I don't
washed.
He's a
expect him
vet.
to be. He's
Yeah.
a vet, but
He's
you
a
know.
vet. Little beat
All
up.
right, guys, let's lock in. Let's lock in.
Sorry.
All right.
Got some more to get.
Next up, we got best freshman or freshman of the year, whatever you want to call it. Colby, start us off. Right?
Y'all get us going.
Who you got?
My best freshman, Eli Bowen.
All
I
right.
think, started out from the jump, just a baller. He was rated one of the top quarterbacks in the country as a true freshman. Played all year pretty consistently. The times where he got cooked was purely things that are out of his control. Size.
Yep.
LSU and Mizzou, and two that stand out in particular. He played great defense, played really well, just got outsized. There's just not really much you can do about that. LSU
enough.
may be a little bit different. He got burned a couple times. But Mizzou
Happens.
in particular, he was literally just shorter than the guy. Nothing to do about that. Consistently,
Pain.
though, just
Pain.
a great player. Very consistent all around. Better than his brother, in my opinion. Just great player. So Eli Bowen's my pick for best freshman of the year.
For me, I also had Eli Bowen. So I don't think it's. I mean, you can argue probably some of the running backs, but just for me, it was the unexpectedness of like him being as good as he was. Like I didn't ever think like, hey, this guy's going to be a dog. He's 5'9", probably boosted. He's probably 5'7.5".
Yeah.
But and then you have to also live up to the Peyton Bowen. My brother's like 5-star. He's a 3-star coming out of high school. No one expected him.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it. So I think that's plays a big part into, why I think he was the best freshman this year. Just clutch, lock down guys that you didn't expect him to lock down.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Williams,
Right.
put him on there.
Yes.
Ryan Williams. Did he have an insane catch that probably should have been called as a touchdown? Yes, but it's Ryan Williams, who was one of the best freshmen in the entire country.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're going off of that, Eli Bowen's probably in that conversation, obviously not top 5, but probably top 10, 15
Yeah.
best freshman in the country. So
Absolutely.
Eli Bowen for sure. Definitely a winner of this award. Gonna be huge next year on the roster. Like we're banked. I mean, he is the man in the secondary next year, maybe other than RSJ. And he's a sophomore, a true sophomore. So gonna be something to see. I got 2 honorable mentions here though. I got X as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Again, for the Alabama game, him and Jackson Arnold's run game literally won us that game. And then I'm gonna say Jacob Jordan as a honorable mention.
Yeah.
One of the few receivers to catch a touchdown on this team.
That's true.
Not many of those. So yeah, Jacob Jordan.
So next we got
No, yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, go no, so
Oh.
go ahead. Yeah.
next we got most improved player.
It's a hard one.
This is a tough one.
I struggled for a little bit thinking. I was like, man, did anyone get better? But I
Yeah.
came down and I don't know what hit me, but I'm going with JJ Hester.
Wowzers.
I don't know. Like, obviously he transferred here, but like I think he came here in 2022, maybe, or something like that. Didn't see the field.
Mm-hmm.
2023, really didn't see the field. Maybe had a couple catches. And then at the beginning of this year, I remember he would run these like little slant routes. I don't know why they're running. He's 6'5", and he would just drop the ball.
Yep.
And I would just be like, what are you doing? That's why you don't get the ball. That's why you shouldn't be in the game. And then Auburn happened, and bro caught a dot. And then you get to Maine, and bro caught another dot, scores a touchdown. I just think over the season, he progressively got better.
Mm-hmm.
And he has probably 3 of the top most or 5 longest like yards or like gains of the entire season. So I'm going with JJ Hester. I kind of struggled. It might be a reach, but yeah, that's who I got.
Cool.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say I lost it. You go ahead. I lost mine.
Okay.
This was a really hard award for me to figure out. Kind of like the Collins point, who really improved.
Who got better?
But I went with this person because I just thought their performance was better this year in general. Not any particular reason that they're the most improved, because a lot of them just kind of gradually got better. But I picked Peyton Bowen. Last year he was decent. For a 5-star coming in, a lot of people thought he was going to be a lot more impressive, I think, than he was. And I think this year he was a little bit more consistent than he was last year. So that's really the only basis I have for this. I just think that he improved and got better. So I'm picking Peyton Bowen.
Yeah, fair enough. Mine's gonna be Kip Lewis. I think this is kind of the easy pickings one.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from, behind Jaron Kanak last year to literally like rivaling Danny Stutzman, who's Danny freaking Stutzman. So, I mean, the shot up within 1 year is crazy.
Yeah.
And now it's like we're looking up to him as like the best linebacker. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's definitely Kip. And then my honorable mention would be Samuel Osigo.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's like improved a ton, made his way into the roster. I don't even think he ever started, but like he made his way up into playing time. And next year you will no doubt see him probably starting. So that'd be my honorable mention.
Yeah. So next up, this one, I have a feeling it's going to look very similar across the board, but this is we got the Baker Mayfield Crash Out Award.
Yeah. The Baker Mayfield Crash
Out. For some of you guys that aren't familiar with the term crash out.
Yeah.
Crash out is just when you just lose your mind. Like you see that guy out there and he's going absolutely like berserk.
Like a lunatic.
Literally, you look like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
And so if you can imagine those years with Baker when he would throw an absolute 80-yard bomb and he would run it down the field and he's shaking his head. You don't know what's going on.
He's losing his mind.
Who was that guy on this team?
Yeah, and to be fair, these are the guys that start fights.
Yeah.
These are the guys you hate when they're at Texas.
Yep.
You hate when they're at OSU. You hate when they're at Ohio State. But when they're here,
you love it.
You love them.
You love
them.
Yeah. Mine is.
I think you can say ours.
Ours is Kip Lewis.
Yep. Okay.
It's Kip Lewis. But I'm going to give my honorable mention. I'll let them talk about Kip Lewis because y'all love talking about Kip Lewis. I'm going to give my honorable mention to Kendall Dolby.
I knew it.
It's unfortunate he only played 3.5 games.
Yep.
But man, if he would have, I think he would have won this award over Kip Lewis, which is crazy to say that somebody can win this award over Kip Lewis.
I don't think so.
But I think he would have won this award over Kip Lewis because, and man, would they have been fun to see together.
Oh, dude.
2 crash outs.
Danny Stutzman, who was like Danny Stutzman, and then you have Kip Lewis on one side, Kendall Dolby on the other side.
And they're just doing this.
Going crazy. And then Danny Stutzman's doing it.
They're all just hitting themselves.
They're just, that's what's, oh man, there's nothing better than a guy that just hits himself in the head.
Yeah.
Because that's how you know he's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I love it. Especially if you're on defense.
Man.
And he's punching himself in the face before he puts his helmet on. With the smelling salt. It's awesome.
I loved Kendall Dolby while we had him, man. I'm so excited to see his comeback next year. He could be comeback player of the year next year.
Yep.
He just so fun to watch. He's everywhere, and I miss him. I miss him. I'm so excited to see his comeback.
Yeah. Well, with Kip Lewis, we obviously picked Kip Lewis. The reason I didn't pick Kip Lewis as most improved player is because I already had him for 2 other awards. So I actually on this list I was going to pick several awards for Kip Lewis, but I had to divvy it up. Kip Lewis is just an absolute crash out. The guy loses his mind. You can tell he loves to play football. Like you said, when a guy hits himself in the face intentionally, I love that.
That's how you know.
I love it.
So you
bring it all day long. And the thing is too, it's so funny because when you're at the stadium and you're there 30 minutes before kickoff and you're watching Kip and the guys warm up, Kip is doing his own thing. Yeah. And the coaches just let him have it. They just let him. It's like a Mustang. You just got to let him go. And he's running across the sideline, beating himself in the head. When they're doing warm-ups and warm-up lines, he's out of the line. He comes in for his rep, then he leaves the line. Everybody else staying in the line. He's over there doing something, grabbing the grass, just doing crazy, crazy things. It's awesome. I love to see it. So obviously that's my pick.
I mean, you already kind of summed it up. Kip Lewis is who I like to think that I would be if I played football. It's just like there's not anything that was like too little for him to like go nuts about.
No.
Like you could literally probably shoelace tackle this guy and he would probably jump up, do a backflip and land in the splits. Like just going silly. Like that is great.
Backflip.
Like if you literally backflip pain right there and then get up, crash out, go make another tackle.
Yeah.
He's just a lunatic. Like you said, like there's so many games where you'll see him come out the tunnel and he'll just pace down the side.
pacing.
And I said, people that pace, I pace like if I'm nervous or something. He's just pacing. Just why not? Because he's just like ready to get back out there. People honestly have to like calm him down because he'll get so like worked up.
He'll get
and it'll be like, Kip, like
we got 45 minutes.
Like, come on,
Kip.
you gotta calm down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that he was the biggest crash out this year. I like the Kendall Dolby because on that one, it's that video. I think who are we playing where he thinks he doesn't get the interception?
And
but,
he's
like,
it's Temple, the first game of the year.
Yeah. Temple.
I will never forget because I was on the sideline.
Yeah.
And all the players were like just laughing so hard. Like, no way.
Like, bro,
He just, because he would literally, he basically forced the guy to drop the ball, the receiver to drop the ball. And then he starts going for the pick. But the ball like just goes out. And then Woody Washington or something picks it off.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that. He's literally
sitting there
going crazy, like having a
jump up and down.
Yeah.
Yes, going psycho. And little does he know the ball was actually picked off. And he goes to the sideline and all the guys are dogging him for it. That was one of the best moments of the season.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
awesome.
best.
Yeah.
That shows Kip Lewis. Yeah,
Kip
absolutely.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield Crash Out Award.
Kip Lewis.
The next award
We got
is
the unsung hero.
Oh, no.
Clutch player of the year.
Player of the year.
Clutch Player of the
we got-
Year. This award goes to the guy who was the most clutch player of the year. Being said, I'm going to start out.
Yeah, gotta go back.
Kip
to him.
Lewis.
Yeah, gotta go back to
Right
him.
back to him.
Yep.
There's 2 plays in my mind that come up every time I think of Kip Lewis. The pick against Auburn and the pick against Bama.
Mhm.
Just clutch. That's just who he is.
He's just clutch.
Nothing else really to say about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to give it to Kip because he beat Auburn for us. I mean,
Literally.
you literally just
six.
have to give it to him.
We're-
I mean,
We got to lose against Navy because of Kip Lewis.
yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, Kip Lewis definitely. I'll give my honorable mention to R. Mason because not really because he did anything that like, that just sealed the game for us or anything,
Mhm.
but whenever it would be like 5-6 minutes left,
Yep.
and the team has a chance to like maybe,
Yes.
get a 2-point conversion, then onside, he would just nah. I'm gonna sack you 3 times in a row, and then the next drive out, you're going to get 2 sacks and I'm going to force a fumble. And then I'm going to take that fumble to the crib. So he would just turn it on for no reason.
Yep.
He has that gene of like, when it's time to turn it on, I'm going to turn it on.
Yeah.
And so get a little honorable mention for R. Mason, even though he can't take over the pick 6 and all that, but I'll give that mention to him.
Yeah, I mean, I got Kip Lewis too.
Yeah.
You can't argue with it. He literally has saved us. He added a win, single-handedly added a win to our season. Like, that is absurd.
Yeah.
One player, obviously, it was a team effort. I don't care. But he literally picked the ball off, took it to the crib, and that's why we won the Auburn game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's Kip Lewis all day for me. He's just extremely clutch, and I'm hoping and praying to see it again in 2025.
Please, Kip.
For our next one, now we have the Unsung Hero Award.
Unsung Hero.
For this one, I got Mr. Luke Elzinga.
What a
Good one.
pick.
Good one.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
pick.
And I said, I don't think it can be argued that he was probably, if I wanted to say the best player on this team, most consistent, it's him. It's him.
But also, what is it? Houston game. Like,
Houston.
he actually won us a game.
Like,
yeah.
His ability to flip the field when we needed it because our offense was absolute dog water, buns, awful, terrible garbage.
That's a good point.
He could do it.
Great
I
pick.
think I saw him. It was in the Navy game. I think, honestly, was one bad punt all season, or maybe it was LSU. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was one bad punt. And I remember saying, I think it was Navy game, because I remember saying, he saved us all year. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Because to have one bad punt at the end of your season, it's absurd.
Yeah.
And not to mention 100% completion percentage. He's 3 for 3 on fake punts.
Dude, that's a great. I didn't even think about.
He's our
that.
best quarterback.
I actually
Like,
did
come
not
on.
think about that. We faked the punt 3 times, which in by itself is crazy, and he succeeded every single time.
The one to
That's a
Bauer
great
Sharp, did it
That's
work? No.
crazy.
But the other two, perfection.
You know what?
He's the hero of this team. Unsung hero of this team.
Yeah, that. You know what? That wasn't my pick.
No.
But you just sold me.
You
Yeah,
just
you're
sold me.
right. That's
Yeah.
the pick.
It is.
Wow.
I think
I
it's
don't even
clear
feel like
that,
I need to say my pick because,
you know,
That's a great one.
That's-
Luke Elzinga. He's the guy.
He's the guy. I'm gonna
Well.
go. I was on a similar vein, but I didn't even think about punter. I thought kicker. I went Zach Schmidt.
Mm.
2022. Y'all know
Yeah.
how I felt. If you are a longtime listener of this podcast, y'all know how I feel about Zach Schmidt. 2022, he goes 2/3. I mean, it goes 12 for 18, which is 66%. Then he goes 71% in 2023, a little upgrade, but still like not where you'd want it to be at OU. This year ups it to 82%. So,
Wowza.
and again, another one, the Auburn game, right? The
Yeah.
Houston game. I don't know if we had a field goal against Houston. I think we did.
Had to.
Because it was 16-12. So there's a lot of games in there where it's like, this game was really close, a really close win, and we had a couple field goals.
Yep.
Thank you, Zach Schmidt. I'm just gonna
Literally.
Zach Schmidt.
3 for 3 from 40 to 49 yards.
That's insane.
Crazy.
That's pretty dang good. And then he
Crazy.
had one 50-yarder this year, a 56-yarder. So,
He kept us in the Mizzou game.
yeah.
He scored all 9 of our points. Our first
If
3
it
9
weren't
points.
for Jackson
is Zach
Arnold,
Schmidt.
Zach Schmidt would have won us the Mizzou game. But
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold did not.
As he does in typical fashion.
So, anyways,
Next
my
up,
unsung hero.
last.
Yep.
We got the best transfer award.
mm,
And this one actually stumped me. I think I literally maybe 2 minutes ago figured out who I was going to pick. And I'm going with Jake Roberts.
okay.
Okay.
I'm going with Jake Roberts.
Yeah. Little Washington guy.
Yeah, a little Washington guy. Hey, shout
Yeah.
out Nate Roberts.
Mhm.
Hey,
Shout out Nate Roberts.
decommit, come here.
That's facts. Yeah.
Anyway, Jake Roberts wasn't the most exceptional tight end. He didn't, he wasn't the leading receiver like Bauer Sharp, but I think when he got his opportunity, you could tell he loved playing for OU.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what sold me over.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have the most talent. He was no Mark Andrews. Okay, cool. But when he got his chance, he didn't fumble it. The Navy game, we scored a touchdown
Mhm.
with who? Jake Roberts.
Yep.
And there was just like so much passion in him playing the game. So I was like, you know what? I like this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to him because I don't think any other transfers were that great. So,
Go ahead.
I'm going to go Dominic Williams.
oh man, that's good.
It's, people aren't,
That's a good one.
That's really good.
okay, so he only has one sack and one forced fumble.
Yeah.
So like the highlight reel of Dominic Williams would not be very impressive. But 36 total tackles. And when you watch, he's very much a disruptor on that defensive line.
Yeah.
He's setting up his edge, R. Mason Thomas. He's setting up his edge, Ethan Downs, to go get the sack and creating a lot of pressure, a lot of havoc. That's what you really want. A defense that creates just chaos, because when chaos is happening, that's when the quarterback gets out of his read and out of his mind, really. And I think he's that kind of guy. So mine would be Dominic Williams.
It's fantastic. Yeah. This one was a hard one for me. Mostly because the guys that transferred in were either not good or didn't play. But I like the Jake Roberts pick. I like both those picks. I'm just gonna go with Deion Burks.
Yeah.
He played 4 or 5 games. But when he did, he was electric, except for the Mizzou game. But that really wasn't his fault because he was wide open several times in the end zone. And Jackson just missed him. I remember there's one particular play. He was in the end zone where me and Kylan were sitting.
Yep.
And he was wide open. Jackson got sacked because he didn't throw it, because of course he didn't. And Deion starts jumping up and down and crashing out because he was wide open. So
jumping up and down.
yeah, I think Deion would have had an incredible year if he just had a decent quarterback. Not even exceptional quarterback, just a decent quarterback. So I will give it to Deion Burks.
Yeah. So those are our awards, guys.
Yep.
Let us know what you think of our picks. If you guys have some other options, let us know.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna go to our final segment. Oh,
I will say this is a series.
It is.
And so in the future, we're gonna have a lot of stuff like we're gonna be going into like best game of the year, most exciting moment of the year. What's the best uniform combo that we wore? What's the best uniform combo that another team wore? What's the best stadium we went to? Because we went to the stadiums, and so all sorts of stuff like that. So be looking out for that, because this next few weeks we'll be doing these superlatives and going through all of these
superlatives and maybe some predictions as well.
Hey, shout out. But now it's time for our favorite segment, of course, comments on comments.
Yep.
We're gonna hear from you guys.
Favorite.
And what you guys have to say to us.
Yeah. We're going to run through this, but we're excited.
Yeah, we're gonna go a little quick.
You guys get it. Get it going.
Yeah, so I'll introduce the topic.
Yeah.
So it's basically back on the topic of Jim Knowles getting paid $2.97 million. And there's really just two comments showing each side of the debate here.
Mhm.
So Kyle, and this is just Kyle's comment, but so many comments were saying the same thing,
Mhm.
are saying pay him. Let BV be a CEO. There was a bunch saying worth every penny. Give him all the money he needs. You got to pay the big bucks to be a big school, all sorts of stuff like that. And then there's the other side. Sooner 101 said this, but again, there was a lot of other comments that were similar. We have a DC in Venables. Don't use money on a DC if we already have one. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of reopen the debate of like, where are you guys at on the spectrum of, do we keep a DC and Venables, or do we pay and let BV be a CEO?
Yeah, it's an interesting debate. Kyle, both of these guys are from TikTok, by the way. I don't know. Just like Spencer said before, BV has not proven he can really be a successful CEO in both roles, when he's managing the defense or when has guys running the defense for him. My first gut instinct would be to say get a DC. That'd be my first thought. But if it's not Jim Knowles,
That's the thing.
then who do you get?
That's my pick.
You know,
If it's not Jim Knowles, I would say pay Jim Knowles. If you can pay Jim Knowles, I know it's a ton of money, pay him, because that just skyrockets everything.
Yeah.
But if it's not Jim Knowles, just go get a budget pick, honestly.
Yeah.
Put BV back at that DC role. Go get a linebacker coach to coach linebackers like in indie drills.
Yeah.
Like when and get a DC, but let BV call the plays. And then when it comes to game management, I think you're going to have to see more of a, I don't know. Part of me is going to come out here and say this. BV's just, I don't want BV being the guy to call to make those big time decisions anymore.
Yeah.
In my world, I'd have Brent Venables as the defensive coordinator almost, almost like a figurehead head coach, and then have somebody else actually game management.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a tough decision, and I'm also of the sort of like, that money can be used better somewhere else probably than Jim Knowles. So I don't know. It's a tough decision.
Maybe an alignment.
Yeah. I think for me, at least, I really want Jim Knowles, obviously, because I think there is a certain point that like pressure will be lifted off of like BV's shoulders, knowing that he doesn't have to do so much work. But at the same time, back to the same argument, it seems like it doesn't matter if there's pressure or not. He's still not going to be able to make, wise choices in game management.
Yep.
But I also don't know if defense is our problem necessarily. Like, it would make sense if we went and got like, obviously not, but like Ryan Day, who is calling offensive plays for Ohio State, because that's what we need. That's our problem for football. Obviously, that's not going to happen, and we have Ben Arbuckle, but it's just, it almost seems like an overhire. It's like, why go get somebody the best when we're already not, like, we could go win a championship.
We were
with
saying
our
that we were
defense.
top two and not two.
Yeah. Like, why go get, like, I'm trying to think of a scenario in my head, but I mean, you guys get the point. Obviously,
No, that's a super good point.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also like, we would be like OP. Like, it would be insane if we had two of the top, I mean, to have no argument here, two of the top 10 defensive minds in college football on the same team working together. It's got to be literally the best defense in college football if you put them together.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If he's asking price is $3 million. That's hefty. That's hefty because what BV makes 8 or something a year.
It's like you're rivaling the same
you're
coach.
like making half of what the boss man is making.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have the money, if we're just being selective and we can pay him that with nothing being hurt, why not go get him?
Yeah.
But if we're not going to go get him, I think, Spencer, like you said, go get a budget hire that you can see a little bit of yourself in. If you're BV, who you can mold and kind of shape into who you would want to be your DC. Like, I mean, I think Zach Alley was that perfect guy.
That'd
Who
be perfect.
he was
right
the perfect
now.
guy. So if you can go find, that's the only reason I
Unfortunately.
said James Scousie, because I mean he got coached by BV at Clemson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But like if you can go find that little BV again,
Be perfect.
go do it.
That's what we need to
go
go
do it
find,
because he's not
honestly.
going. That 28-year-old's not going to demand $3 million because he's not proven.
Yeah.
So
You make a good point of like, if you told me mid-season, we're going to go hire a new guy for $3 million under the staff, I would say, okay, an offensive coordinator, right?
no.
A defensive coordinator? Why?
Yeah.
And I get we lost Zach Alley. I guess things have changed, but it does make more sense. Like, why invest so heavily in the defense when that's not necessarily what's going on?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the problem. So
Yeah.
I
One
can
thing
understand.
that is interesting to think about, though, is if Jim Knowles, if we did pay money for Jim Knowles to come here, that portal from Ohio State,
Unfortunately, they're not going to the draft.
I get some.
Everybody, I mean, they
maybe some
have,
freshmen. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure they have plenty of
Yeah,
talent that we
yeah.
would love to get, but
Yeah.
unfortunately for
The guys we'd really want and need are going to be going to the league,
One
or
thing-
they're going to be staying at Ohio State because they
Yeah.
just won a national championship.
one
So,
thing I heard is every SEC team we faced, except for Auburn, has a first rounder in the mock draft, and in mock drafts, of course, leaving. If you're looking for some hope in this super hard schedule, Michigan has 4 first rounders in the mock, of course, in the mock draft, leaving.
That's ridiculous.
that's crazy.
Alabama has 3. The total was like 22 of the just the teams that were playing next year.
That's insane.
22 first rounders. So almost the entire first round is players that we were about to play, but thank goodness
Yeah.
we do not have to.
Yeah.
So
That's wild.
um,
That is so crazy to think.
anyways, that's kind of a tangent, but yeah.
Anyways, well, that wraps up our comments on comments.
I mean, that's all we got for you guys today. I say all we got, like we didn't give you guys an absolute heater right there, but stay tuned. Like Spencer said, we
Yeah.
got crazy superlative, just new series going into this offseason of football. You guys are going to hear the same, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? But why not? We're going to try and spice it up, make it a little fun for you guys.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you guys also, if you have ideas for what you want to see, like, new segment ideas, please tell us. We would love to try and, incorporate those ideas.
we're going to go check out a little bit of potentially some semi-pro football.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
OKC Bears.
We do have a player interview lined up.
Yep.
So that is exciting. We can't tell you when, can't tell you who it is, but it's going to happen.
And it's a player.
It's an actual player for
an actual
the OU Hoops team.
For the OKC Bears.
OKC Bears. It's me.
But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. This offseason will be a good time. It's normally a dead time for everybody, but we're going to make it fun. So
Yeah.
make sure you're
We
staying
got
tuned.
superlatives coming up, and then after that, we'll be kind of doing
Yeah.
like maybe spring
Spring
game
ball?
A
predictions,
little baseball.
all those
maybe?
kind of
A little
things.
softball,
baseball.
Sure.
and then it's going to be off season where we're talking about predictions for next season. So and
So-
softball,
Yeah.
So
So
we got plenty of ideas coming up. So.
Exciting stuff.
for sure.
Really
Cool.
exciting stuff. Be sure to follow us on all socials. We really appreciate it. And listen to our podcast. We're literally everywhere.
Please.
Anywhere you check.
Do that.
YouTube, Spotify,
Mm.
Apple, everywhere.
iHeartRadio.
Be sure you are listening on those platforms. And we're great for you.
So we'll see y'all later.
Have a good day.
Peace.
Peace.